Well, hello. Good morning on another freezing cold morning where I thought we'd need a winter warmer. Also, hence my roll neck, too mean to turn on the heating. So we're going to have kidneys with fried bread. Can be eaten at lunch, can be eaten at dinner. Makes a breakfast of champions.
What are they?
They're in the lamb, in the sheep, around about here, internally. And these are your kind of filters, shall we say, without going into too much detail. There is an intact lamb kidney. The texture is very soft. It's like liver kind of texture, but denser. It's tighter. It's not as, but it's kind of liverish in its texture, but just that little bit firmer. It's got a membrane on it, which we're going to remove, and it's got some, what I call grozzle inside, which we're going to remove.
Do you think people will be wary of those?
People are aware of those things. It's kind of, you know, assigned to the past as grandparent food. Oh, why would I want to eat kidneys where I can buy a nice piece of steak? Well, more fool you. They're cheap. They're brilliant on the kitchen budget. They've got very particular tastes and they're completely delicious. And this is a real kind of budget meal that will make you feel like you've eaten something kind of truly wonderful. I'll show you how to clean them in a minute, but until then, it's on with the onion. Now, onions...
Sharp knives important.
Sharp, more accidents happen. It's all been said before, but more accidents start from having a blunt knife which slips than a sharp knife which won't slip. So sharp knives are freaking essential. And if you're trying to take the fillets off a mackerel or something, you will have to press so much with a blunt knife that you'll end up making the fish all kind of pudgy and ruining the flesh. So sharp knives, literally the minute you touch it and pull, you should be opening something up, opening it up like a bag of what's-its. Nice and finely chopped onion.
Chopping onions, one of those things that chefs can tell a good chef from.
I mean, most chefs are good at chopping. We do enough of it. But you're not a good cook because you can chop onions well. You're just good at chopping onions. Butter, a health product, as you well know. You want a good, probably a good, come on, you know, a good bit of butter. I love butter. Joy in the morning. And then in with your onions. And don't race these. Just cook them on a nice low medium heat, sizzling away. And they want to be what I'd call pathetically soft, utterly tender and giving, and nothing less. And only when they are like that can you continue. Onions are the backbone of so many dishes. We rely on them. They're the structure. They're the core of so many good things. So cook them carefully. Look after them. A good grind of black pepper now. That won't do any harm. This is deviled, remember. Deviled, the devil. Pointy, horns, hot. Okay, so quite a bit of pepper. Now the membrane would normally run over both sides of the kidney. So I'm going to just peel that off. No, there's doglet.
So they come with fat on normally?
Well, you get the suet. You peel off the suet and then you get the membrane. You peel off the membrane and then you cut them in half through the middle and you'll see inside you'll get this little, I don't really know what to call it, sinew is just a kind of a general term, but this is gnarly and uneatable. I'm just going to push my sleeves up because I don't want bloody cuffs. Okay, and that is a, actually, hold on, I haven't done this one. Now that is a prepared kidney. One of my other favourite kidney dishes, rognon, as they're called in France, in a mustard sauce, Dijon and white wine cream mustard sauce, with just flipping delicious and eaten with buttered rice. Fantastic. Okay, so look, I'm just going to cut these up into pieces about that big now. So the halves are going to become quarters. These are so tasty. They are so damn tasty. And this is going to be quite naughty because I'm going to dish them up on one of my favourite things in the world, which I try not to eat too much of, which is fried bread. Actually, the best thing to have with this is a cup of tea. That kind of thing, tea, when people say tea, especially up north, they go, right, we're having tea, and I think, great, some cake, and then dinner's put on the table. This is a kind of, now I'm kind of used to that, this can be that kind of tea, you know, a good plate of kidneys on toast. And if it's the weekend and you're going out for a long walk across the Marlborough Downs or along the sea, this is a brilliant breakfast. And then you'd have the tea, but maybe a little bit of brandy in it.
When did you get into eating kidneys?
I was an incredibly unsqueamish child. I didn't have those kind of antsy, I'm not eating that, twisting away kind of thing as parents are trying to put something. My parents told me that I ate absolutely everything, literally from the day I took solids. In fact, because I ate everything, I ate my sister's oil paints and had to go to the doctor. I understood the world by biting it, whether it was people or erasers, and actually I view the whole world as edible or inedible. I even view people that way, actually, edible or inedible. And I was unsqueamish, I ate everything, and I had two parents who ate everything. My dad loved, you know, there just wasn't anything he didn't eat. And I got all those genes, I guess. My brother eats everything as well, actually. But he was more picky until a certain age. My mum ate everything. You know, also two parents who kind of grew up. My dad fought in the Second War, actually fought in it, not my grandfather, my father. And my mother grew up during the Second War. So, you know, two people who've grown up in wartime, where you certainly didn't say, I don't want to eat that. So, you know, all those things coming together. And I was born super unsqueamish. Right, now I'm going to get some sherry. There's a part of me that believes the sauce is only as good as the wine you put in it. But with something like this, you don't want to be pouring, you know, fabulous, you know, sherry in here.
So sherry's so like sweet though, yeah.
Yeah, this is real, you know, Granny's courage. So here, got some tomato puree. I want about a spoonful and a half, and I'm going to kind of burn that slightly.
What does that do?
Just kind of cooks out that slightly processed taste. I'm just scalding it is a word I prefer. Right, we'll add a bit more in a minute, but a good bit of sherry. Right, this is all going a little bit too quickly, so turn down the heat. Good old Liam Perrins. By the way, the man standing from behind the camera is from Doncaster, so he's probably more used to Henderson's fruit sauce. If you can't buy Liam Perrins, but you find Henderson's fruit sauce, I actually prefer it. They're meant to do the same kind of thing, but Henderson's, dare I suggest, dear people of Worcestershire, is even better. So just a really good glug of Worcestershire sauce. Dog's desperately trying to play ball, but I'm not having it. As we said, you need a little bit of sharpness in here. I've got no sherry vinegar left, but we poured sherry in it. I've got some balsamic vinegar, so I'm going to add a little bit of balsamic. Yum. Yum, just a little bit more. Vinegars are very important. You've added a little bit of sharpness, just wakes, electrifies. And then some hot mustard. And I'm going to add quite a big, this is that Fortnum's hot mustard that I love so much. And then, smoky part, some smoked paprika.
What does that give it?
Just that, it gives it that kind of woody, that lovely wood smoky, kind of leathery in a way. So a bit of smoked paprika, and then deviled a little bit of heat. This is hot chili powder. That's quite a dry mix at the moment. I'm gonna add a tiny bit more sherry, just to loosen it, but also for that kind of sugary element to it.
How do you know to add more?
Just because I wanted that sherry to, you know, you can put it in. Once you put it in, it's like when people salt things, you can put it in, but you can't take it out. So I just want a little bit more of the sugar. And in the meantime, no harm in adding more of the booze. So now this has done its thing. Okay, so now, before we get on with the kidneys, I'm going to heat another frying pan, and we're going to do our fried bread. Sunflower oil. Yeah. Fried bread. Very, very, very naughty. I always get the giggles in a bed and breakfast somewhere where you're sitting down stairs and a couple come down and they go, I have the full English, but no fried bread. It's like, what? So you got fried eggs, you got sausages, you got bacon, you got black pudding, but you've just said out of some weird kind of health idea that you're not having the fried bread, which is the best bit. Anyway, who am I? Just to enrich it, just stick a little bit of butter in there as well. But if you got dripping, use dripping. If you got some lard, you could use some lard. Okay. Fry.
Croutons are fried bread, aren't they?
Croutons are fried bread, yeah. Who doesn't love a crouton? Brilliant, okay, but it does need a good drain first. Put that in here. Okay, kidneys.
What have you done that for?
I'm just keeping it warm. The oven's on anyway, so I'm just going to keep it warm while I do the kidneys. It's just a little bit of butter. Now, some might flour the kidneys to kind of thicken the sauce. I don't think that's necessary. It's quite old school. You don't need to do that. And what we want is to get some colour on the kidneys, so make sure you choose a pan where they're not all crammed together, where they're just going to release their moisture. Some salt. Another grind of pepper. Just leave them alone and they'll start to colour, and then move them when they've got some colour. Oh look, lovely colour here, Paul, see? Beautiful. And they're going to not cook for long, so give them a little bit of a twist. No, I want them to be ever so faintly pink inside. Oh, and I've forgotten to do it. I need some parsley. If you don't have parsley, you've got chives, use chives. If you don't have chives, you've got chervil, use chervil. If you don't have chervil, try some dill. I haven't myself, but see what that's like. Chives, parsley and tarragon would be my kind of go-to. I'm going to finish the rest in the sauce. So that tomato, deviled tomato grozzle back in. And then, all important, creme fraiche. You can use cream, but again I like the sourness of creme fraiche, so a good blob of creme fraiche. Take a little bit of water. It's just a little bit on the thick side. What an amazing colour. In goes parsley. Okay. That is absolutely flipping delicious. It's creamy, it's spicy, it's smoky, it's got the taste of the kidneys, it's just fabulous.
Aggie looks like she's interested as well.
Aggie is always interested. Right. Fried bread.
That's a rich colour, right?
It is a rich dish. It's got butter, it's got creme fraiche, it's got sherry, it's got smoked paprika, and you know, this is rich. But outside, it's flipping cold. So then this will do 2. Oh, look at that. It just looks... Oh, joy. Joy in the morning. One final little kind of fidget of parsley. And Bob's your uncle, Charlie's your aunt.
Aggie knows there's food.
Aggie always knows when there's food coming. It's her dog sense. She knows when, now God, I mean, crispy toast. That's traditional joy, delivered on very many levels. To eat the fried bread on its own, well, what's not to like? It's crispy and you know, oily. And then you got kidneys on top with kind of slightly tart creme fraiche and smoked paprika and fried kidneys. You can really taste the kidneys. It's a little bit hot. It's definitely deviled, but not overly aggressive. Flipping delicious. This is kind of old school. I can't stop. They taste quite unlike any other part of the animal, but they're delicious. They're absolutely delicious. If you enjoyed that, come over to Patreon, come and join the family, come and see a little bit of surf and turf, and thanks for joining me on YouTube, and much love and melted butter. What are you looking at?
Does she know when food is?
Does she know? She knows before I know. It's her dog sense.